Tiger fans, what's going on? All right, so guess we'll jump right on into it. So this week in Tigers baseball, it was a weeks of ups and a weeks of downs. So we finish off since the last time I was on here. The Tigers were playing the Chicago White Sox, and the Chicago White Sox came in and did what the Chicago White Sox should do, and they swept the Tigers. They lost 5-4. Then they had, it was last Saturday, I was mowing my lawn, I was listening to the game, and Urena was on the mound. And first inning, the Tigers had some defensive blunders, and then it's the fourth inning, and it's 8-2. And I forget who hit the home run. It might have been Castro who hit a home run. It was 2-3. I was like, all right, cool. First inning defensive blunders, whatnot, whatever. Who cares? But it was 8-2, and it's like, holy shit, because the Tigers, they have to replace Spencer Turnbull in the rotation right now. So they needed Urena to go out there and throw some innings. Yeah, that did not happen. He got shit-wrecked. Absolutely shit-wrecked. Walk after walk after walk. Babe Burrows comes on, and this is actually his last start ever as a Tiger, because the Tigers actually released him. They DFA'd him. And there was actually a lot of controversy around the Tigers releasing him, and Wilson Ramos got DFA'd as well, which I'm not so surprised about Wilson Ramos getting DFA'd, because you have to think Haas and Rogers have both been playing pretty well. Rogers, who I'm most surprised of as of late, they provided some good power behind the plate. Rogers, who's supposed to be a Gold Glove person, that's who he was touted as coming up. He's had a little bit more pop at his bat. I think he's actually hitting above the Mendoza line now. And of course, Haas, who's got a lot of swing and miss, but a little bit of pop. He's been hitting well. So they DFA'd Wilson Ramos, which makes a lot of sense because Grayson Greiner came off of the IL. They ended up just optioning him down to AAA. And Wilson Ramos, who's been nothing but consistently hurt, he's not much of a glove guy anyways. He's pretty much Nomar Mazara, but behind the plate. And it didn't make any sense to keep him on the roster when you got essentially Nomar Mazara version 2.0, but behind the plate, and he's always hurt, waste of a 40-man spot. With Babe Burrows, it doesn't surprise me that they DFA'd him, because he really has never shown since he was drafted the ability to throw strikes at any level that he's been in. You could go look at his career minor league statistics. When the Tigers drafted him, he was a highly touted guy who was supposed to be a starter. You can actually, if you go through some of my older videos, probably like 2016, 17, when I was talking about Tiger prospects, he's always one of the first top 5 guys I'd say. Like him, and Kyle Funkhauser was another guy who was touted. Jonathan Crawford, until they got rid of him. Corey Knebel, that was another one. Those were kind of like the guys down there. But he's never been the guy that he can't throw. He could never throw strikes. A typical David Dombrowski draft pick. And after he threw up on the mound facing Yerwin Mercedes, the Tigers they let him go. Declare a roster spot for Joel Peralta, who's making his starting debut. He already had made a relief appearance already with the Tigers and got it out of it to finish inning the other night. Looked fine. But a lot of people were like, wow, I can't believe they're releasing Burrows with, the little bit amount of major league time he has, as big of a prospect as he was. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, with this new coaching staff, as I've iterated in my last couple of videos, the Tigers they're not going to wait. If you're not getting it done and you've shown no progress of getting it done, and he's come out, he's been a guy that's had arm issues. He's been a guy that's been, had arm issues in the past, and his velocity is starting to come back, but it's not like it was when they drafted him, and he still hasn't shown any ability to throw strikes. There's no reason for the Tigers to keep him around. And like I said, with this new guys, the Tigers he's probably going to get claimed. He might have gotten claimed. I haven't checked that yet. But if he doesn't, he's going to go back down, because the Tigers had to kick him off the 40-man. But, what are you going to do? I wasn't surprised at it one bit. And then we go to KC, and I got my iPad today since my computer fucked me over last week trying to do this, and I sounded like a moron. Last week's video was kind of shitty, so sorry about that. So Matt Boyd actually pitched this game. Now I got to keep this because you got to realize in the course of my week, I watch probably 4 out of 7 Tigers games or 4 out of 6. I don't watch them 1 through 9 anymore. Only a couple games a week do I get that. So I use this to jog my memory about what had happened. So Matt Boyd actually pitched this game, and Boyd was pitching well, but he came out with an arm injury. And I believe he went to the IL. Joe Jimenez actually came out. He got the win in this. Foley, who made his Major League debut the other day, he pitched an inning in this. Lang pitched an inning in this. Funkhauser pitched 2/3 of an inning in this. So did Farmer. Jose Cisnero pitched in this game. And Michael Fulmer came back off the IL and notched his first save. And that is ginormous for the Tigers because they needed him back. Now that he's back in there, Cisnero and Soto can get pushed back down. And hopefully Lang and Foley can do something, in Brian Garcia, because the Tigers have the pieces. They got guys in there with stuff. It's not like they're throwing out, Robbie Whitenhart. There's a name from the past, or Bobby C, who's out there going, hey, can you guys hopefully give us some innings, even though you're fucking terrible, or David Percy. Now they actually got some guys back there with stuff, but they just got inconsistencies and issues with the gopher ball. Then the second game of the series, the Tigers won as well. By the way, that first game of the series, Robbie Grossman, who he's the MVP right now of the Tigers, I think, in general. He's just been, his power stroke is there. His defense out in the outfield is really good. I rant and rave about him every week. Right now, he's the MVP of the Tigers. He's been fucking phenomenal. He had a home run this game. This game was the Casey Mize game. The Tigers swept the series, by the way. Casey Mize, 6 2/3. He almost got through the 7th, but gave up a base hit in the 7th. Jonathan Scope hit a piss seed of a home run right center field. Oppo Taco shot. It was a hell of a shot out there. So Mize pitches extremely well. 6 2/3 innings. The kid is just absolutely blossoming. Looks great. Phenomenal. Tigers take that game. And then they complete the sweep. And they beat the Royals 6-5 to finish off the sweep. Tarek Skubal pitched against Brady Singer. Skubal, what did he do this game? This was a day game, I believe. Oh no, I think this was a night game. Can't remember. Skubal, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned, 7 strikeouts. He's had a problem with the gopher ball. He's been another one where the ball is. He seems like he gives up 1 or 2 home runs to start, but that's it. They're always solo shots. I don't know. It's just weird with him. So then we move on to the Anaheim series. And with Anaheim, the Tigers have never played in Anaheim ever. I can't remember in my time of watching the Tigers, the last time the Tigers actually won a series out in California. It's been a hell of a long time. I can remember Rick Porcello going out there and giving up 7 earned runs or 8 earned runs twice. There was a couple games out there. He had 2 of his worst starts out in Anaheim. The Tigers always get shit wrecked. But the importance of this is Matt Manning, the Tigers' number 3 overall prospect. He finally came up and made his debut. And I wasn't that impressed. I'm not going to lie. Not saying that he's a bust. Not saying that he's going to be a crappy pitcher. But you look at his start overall. He had 3 total strikeouts. He had Justin Upton twice. Once on a swinging fastball up in the zone. Once caught him looking. And he got 1 other Angels hitter. In his total, he did give him 5 innings. In his total 5 innings, there was 4 out of all those batters faced. 4 non-hard hit balls. If you go through and you rewatch Matt Manning's start, every single out in that game was either a piss seed at someone or someone made a nice play in the infield to get an extremely hard hit ball. He didn't have. If he had more than 4 swings and misses or 5 swings and misses in that entire game, I would be surprised. And he was throwing a lot of strikes, but if you go through and you rewatch that game, because I watched this game close, he had so many misses down the middle of the plate that were just middle fastballs at 95. And you can count it up to first time out there, first time jitters and whatnot, and he's trying to get settled in. He did have a couple walks. And he was pitching behind so much that he couldn't get to his curveball, which is his bread and butter pitch. And he was just throwing so many hittable fastballs, and the Angels were all over him. The fact that he got through 5 innings and only gave up 2 runs, that it's astounding to me, because if you go back through and rewatch that game, almost every single ball was stung. He got hit extremely hard, but they were atom balls, which means they're hit right at people. And I'm honestly surprised he only gave up 2 runs. His best inning was the 5th inning, his last inning. He looked the best out there. That was by far the inning that his fastball command looked the best. It was by far the best inning where ease of outs looked the best. He got 2 really quick outs. But man, he did not look that great. I don't care what the box score says. I don't care that he went 5 innings. Go rewatch that game, guys. I'm telling you. Go rewatch it, and you'll see. You don't even bother watching the whole game, because the Tigers are going to get swept. Like, I hate to break it to you guys. They lost 5-7 on Manning's start. They tried to make a comeback. Urena, again, got shit rocked last night. Always a problem with the gopher ball with him. And then tonight, Joel Peralta pitches. If they take 1 game in this series, I will be brutally fucking surprised, because they cannot play in Anaheim at all. But go rewatch that game. You just watch Matt Manning's innings and count how many swings and misses he has, and count how many balls were pissy rockets off of the bat. So, now that we got that, Grossman's my MVP of the week. Baseball had a big thing this week where the MLB came out and they banned the use of all sticky stuff. Now, so far, guys, Tyler Glasnow got hurt. Trevor Bauer has come out. He did an interview with the Dodgers to where he had a ball in his hand and goes, "Is this legal or illegal?" And basically, it was just rosin and sweat, which was able to make a tacky enough surface to where the ball could physically stick to his hand. Glasnow had said that he was the sunscreen and rosin guy. And the biggest thing about this and about the whole movement that baseball is doing right now is, over the last 5 years, there has been this movement of, since they started tracking spin rates skyrocketing in the MLB. There's guys where, like, Garrett Cole is a guy that really jumped up when he came to Houston. Justin Verlander's spin rate has jumped up when he went to Houston. Max Scherzer is a guy that's had an increased spin rate over the last couple of years. Trevor Bauer has been a guy that's had increased spin rate since he was in Cleveland. Glasnow is a guy, and over the last couple of weeks, we'd heard rumblings that MLB was going to start doing something about this. And as of the 21st, the umpires have to check players' gloves when they come in and out of the game. And if they feel like the guy is abusing something, like touching his cap a bunch of times or rubbing his glove a certain way or maybe coming to the side of his pant leg, that they could get thrown out of the game, and then they're suspended for 10 days with pay. Now, Glasnow got hurt, and Glasnow is saying that since he couldn't have anything to grip the ball, he had to grip the ball tighter. And Trevor May, when he came out and made his video, and Trevor Bauer echoed the same thing, that when you have to grip the ball tighter, and if you just physically go like this and put your hand, you can feel it all in your muscles up in here in your elbow, that him trying to grip the ball tighter because he had nothing on it, made him throw the ball differently and put more stress on his elbow. Now he's got a partially torn UCL. And this is a guy that is top 3 in average fastball velocity in the MLB, and the Rays need him. He's their guy, and now he's done potentially for the year. He might need surgery, but he's going to try to rehab it to come back for playoff time. And now there's a bunch of guys who are pissed about this, but then there's also a bunch of guys. I was listening to the Chris Rose rotation. Archie Bradley is saying he's been a guy that's never needed anything. He never has used anything because his stuff, it didn't matter if he had increased spin, whatnot. He didn't need anything, but they needed to come out of the game because he's sick of seeing guys who were just kind of pitchers. All of a sudden, they start using this foreign substance, and then they're spin rate increases, which increases velocity, which increases break, and these guys are getting paid big money, and they're cheating to do this while he's out here busting his ass trying to get better, and he's not doing anything. Basically, it's people are comparing it to like the steroid era of the 90s, but I think it's a little bit different because guys are using things to increase RPM and get better grip on the ball and get paid, but hitters don't really have anything to combat this because since the MLB has started making rumblings about this, batting averages and offense has gone up in the big leagues since the first couple of months where it was really down. Now, here's my take on all this. I think it's a really bad look by the MLB to do this mid-season because you have all these guys that have been using this stuff. Now, first, let's clarify. If you're using stuff like pine tar, if you're using rosin and sweat, if you're using rosin and sunscreen, I don't think that's a big deal because there was a good conversation about this on John Boy's podcast, Talking Baseball, and Trevor Bauer talked about this. There's stuff like Spider Tact that is like almost like putting super glue on your fingers. Like that shit is insane how sticky it makes the ball. Now, there's certain substances that help with grip, but then there's certain substances that help with spin rate. And for the fact that the MLB had come out in the start of the season and said, you guys have no worry about getting suspended or any repercussions happening for using this stuff, keep doing what you're doing. That's why they were taking the balls out of play to analyze what was in it. And then we're mid-June, and they go, nope, can't use shit. I think that is totally fucked up to the players because you need to give these guys some time to, one, get used to your new rules. Two, they gave them nothing, absolutely nothing as an approved alternative to help them grip the ball better that isn't an unfair competitive balance. So how are you going to go out there, say that you guys have immunity to this, you're not going to get any kind of suspension or fine, then you go, well, it's mid-season. You guys have been doing this stuff for the last couple of years. We haven't gave a fuck until now where there's this whole big thing because of the players now. I'd say in my lifetime, the players, their own personas that are reflected on social media because social media platforms are so huge that guys like Trevor Bauer, Trevor May, you get former players now on podcasts, like shit like CC Sabathia does. Their voices echo so loudly on such ginormous platforms in the reaches that MLB can't even reach because of the people they get to listen. It makes the MLB look really bad. And for the MLB to go out and do this at this time with no alternative to give these guys no kind of grip, to give them a substance that is a neutral that isn't going to increase. But I think that's just so fucked up. And they're basically trying to save face. And a big thing that a lot of people are saying, and I totally 100% agree, the CBA expires at the end of this year. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to put the players against players. Because if you look at like Josh Donaldson's comments when he's like, I'm tired of this, and I'm going to come out and I have a whole video library of all these guys blatantly cheating on the mound using sticky shit. And he was, he was going to come out and release it. And John Boy did a video on the differences of the grip substance and the spin substance. And these voices are echoing so big now that the MLB was forced to come out and do something. But like typical fucking MLB fashion, they did it like fucking shit. You can't sit there and implement a rule that will not implement, but just decide you're going to start fucking enforcing it. And then you put it in the hands of these umpires who, for the longest time, just went like this. Yeah, we're not seeing this guy rub his glove at all 1,000 fucking times, or we're not seeing a guy rub his hat 1,000 times a certain way. Now they're all of a sudden they have to go out there and try to enforce a rule that they haven't gave a shit about enforcing, or this wouldn't be a fucking problem in the first place. Because if you look at someone like what Carlos Rodon said, the Astros cheated, did what they did with the video and the trash cans, All those players did not get suspended. None of them. Even the ones that admitted to being part of it. Now, mind you, like a couple guys lost their job. Cora lost his job, and Carlos Beltran was going to be the manager of the Mets. Didn't even get to coach a game. And Cora has ended up being back, and now Hinch is our manager. So it's like, they lost some picks. They still got a fucking World Series. They still made it back against the Nationals. They were a few outs away from almost winning 2 titles in 4 years. So it's like the MLB only chooses when they want to enforce rules when they want to. They don't give a fuck any other time because these guys are getting massive deals. The money and revenue, these guys getting massive deals to bring them to these markets makes them money because it draws more fans in. And then they're so fucking lazy about enforcing shit. And then when they do enforce it, stuff that's already been a rule the whole time, they're just like, they don't even know how to fucking enforce it. It just blows my fucking mind. Like, you can't tell these guys you're not going to get in trouble, and then midway through the year go, yep, nothing. You get shit. Now, a lot of people are sitting here saying, well, these guys are pussies, and, they haven't needed it. Other guys don't need it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, look. There's been some kind of fucking cheating with pitchers, with spitballs, with emery boards. Whitey Ford had a story about keeping his wedding ring under his glove so he could scuff the ball certain ways and whatnot like that. So he got an advantage on it. Mike Scott in the 80s in the Astros, people thought he was using an emery board. The Negro guys doing what they did. It's like there's always been some sort of doctoring of the ball. There's a million fucking stories about it, of how these dudes have somewhat done something. But you can't sit there and go, you can't use nothing. Because the biggest issue is the fucking baseballs. You can't even fucking manufacture baseballs consistently. They've changed the goddamn ball how many fucking times now? And now they bought Rawlings. So now they can manipulate the baseball because one year fucking Mitch Garver's hitting 31 and the fucking Twins hit 300 and some goddamn home runs. They had like 4 fucking teams break the home run record for a single team. And then they go, whoa, shit, these balls are flying out. They're acting different than the other ball. And they wouldn't fucking admit it. Until finally last year that those balls were wound a little bit more tighter. So what do? They come out and they deaden the ball. And now these balls are acting different. And it affected offenses. And the drag on the ball is different. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the common thing that I'm hearing from all these players when I listen to interviews and stuff like that is the seams on these balls. Some of them feel like you're gripping an egg, people say. So what they need to fucking do is, one, not fucking implement rules like this shit midway through the fucking season. Because that's fucking bullshit. That's like if there was like a big epidemic against pine tar giving an unfair advantage, and they go, hitters, you got gloves that have this rough shit on there. That and batting tape are good enough. And then all of a sudden, bats start flying in the stands like Josh Hamilton style, fucking murdering fans and shit. And they say you can't use shit for the rest of the year. That's horse shit. What they need to do is they need to fucking come to an agreement of what is legal and what is not illegal. Because you can't tell these guys they can't use anything. You already saw Glasnow got hurt. And a lot of people are saying it's not because of that. But I fully fucking agree. Because if you grip your fist like this and you hold it like how you throw a ball, you can feel the fuck out of this in your elbow. You can totally feel it. Now, if you're sitting there where they teach these guys, and I've heard this on podcasts and interviews with these guys, to grip the baseball, loose. You want to be gentle with it. And now they're squeezing the piss out of it because they can't grip it. And now you're affecting guys' careers. Now, I'm not saying let them go out there fucking Elmer's on the mound or Gorilla Glue and let them glue the shit, because they did need to do something. They did need to enforce a fucking rule that already existed. Like, they had to do something because you got guys where the spin rates jumped up 400 RPM, 500 RPM. Like, the fucking MLB, and this was a thing I wanted to touch on this video, but it's already getting long. But in MLB nowadays, I am so fucking tired of watching all these strikeouts. Every fucking game. It has become this thing with the MLB with this 3 true outcomes launching of bullshit. I'm fucking tired of watching. I've been watching this game since 2003. I have watched games since the 50s. I have gone back that far and watched baseball. Now, I'm not saying we need Mickey Mantle bunting down to fucking third, and bring back all that Mike Schmidt bunting. If you watch some of the World Series in the 70s, no. But this fucking bullshit with all these fucking shifts and all this fucking swinging for the fence bullshit because of the goddamn baseball. Because of the baseball being fucking juiced like a fucking bouncy ball. It's fucking made the game boring as shit. For fuck's sake. Joey Gallo had 100 motherfucking home runs before 100 singles. What the fuck is wrong with that picture? 100 home runs for 100 singles. Like, seriously? Well, it used to be you had a couple guys that were your outliers. You had Adam Dunn, you had Mark Reynolds, and Chris Carter. Those were like the 3 dudes. 380 on base, 200 strikeouts, but hit 40 home runs. Now everyone's like that. Don Mattingly has come out and said it's hard to watch sometimes. This is fucking Donnie Baseball. So many guys have come out and talked about how baseball is almost unwatchable. I can't tell you how much I miss the days of watching Placido Polanco with Carlos Guillen on first. Placido Polanco come up there, or Ramon Santiago on first. Placido come up there, he choke up a little bit on the fucking bat, and that dude shot the hole at second with a hit and run on better than any person I have ever saw. I am so sick of every time someone hits the ball, fucking ropes it up the middle. It's like it's a fucking softball team with a rover out there. They're always in the same fucking spot. Or someone hits a pissy to right and the third baseman isn't even there. He's a fucking second baseman out in the fucking outfield. It's boring as shit to watch. To watch a guy be perfectly fucking placed, not have to use any athleticism, not have to use any kind of glove work because he's standing there like a fucking robot, perfectly placed. And I used to be one of those guys that said, learn how to hit the other way. Learn how to beat the shift. But it's almost impossible now. They want you to fucking do that. That's the point of the shift. If I have, example, say I have Prince Fielder in his prime up there. Great left-handed hitter. And he goes the other way down the line for a single. I don't give 2 fucks. I don't give 2 fucks because I kept the ball in the ballpark. So then you got these guys that go, well, to beat the shift, I'm going to put it over their head. And they're striking out a million fucking times. I can't take this new style of baseball to where the shifts are taking the athleticism out of the game. The shifts are taking some of the fun out of the game of watching guys who have range not be able to utilize it because they're either so far away from the play to be a normal, where they would be a play in a normal position infield that there's not even any point, or they're perfectly placed. It's just not fun watching these guys stand there and shit at every single play. And it's not fun watching these guys when the ball's finally put in play, because you don't hardly ever see the ball fucking put in play anymore, hit right at someone. It's not fun. It's honestly boring. But I watch because I'm such a big fan of the game. This has been one of my favorite sports for almost 20 years. I mean, I've been a diehard of the MLB since 2003. But it's getting to the point where MLB needs to do something about this shit. And a lot of it has to do with the baseball. These fucking bouncy ball baseballs that they instituted. And everyone's swinging up because they know the ball fucking travels. So MLB, think of fucking something that the pitchers can use that's actually legal and enforce it. Bring some fucking consistency to the goddamn fucking baseball to where their shit fucking levels out. I mean, I get it. There's going to be instances of, something's higher than the other, and it's never going to be a perfect median, but fuck, there's got to be some kind of context neutral. It's like, Jesus Christ. And a lot of this has, and another thing is just like, they're doing it to pin players against players, because like I said earlier about the Josh Donaldson thing and all these other players bitching about it, and even pitchers bitching about it, all the spin rate going up and MLB not enforcing a fucking rule that already exists. And it all correlates with one another. It all also stems down to the biggest fucking problem. Number one, Rob Manfred. I thought fucking Bud Selig was bad. Jesus fuck, dude. Rob Manfred fucking sucks. He is one of the worst people I've ever saw. I thought like Gary Bettman was bad for the NHL. And Roger Goodell. Like, he was like fucking king shit. Rob Manfred and him are sharing the fucking king's chair at the table of being shitty commissioners. At least when Bud Selig was there, he didn't fuck with the game every single year and try to institute all these changes to try to cater to a couple extra 100,000 fans, and the other fucking 20 million are getting butt fucked by all these stupid changes, like with the baseball, the rules. There's probably going to be a lockout because now they're going to have to, these players are going to be pissed about the whole substance thing and try to figure out a neutral thing on how they can prepare the baseballs better and something that can actually help them grip. And that's going to have to be decided in the CBA because there ain't no fucking way in hell that come next year they don't have something to help them grip the baseball. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just tired of it all. Like, it's making baseball not fun. And this is for a sport that averages $10 billion a year. It's a joke. It's honestly a joke that we have to put up with this bullshit as fans. That they can't have a baseball. They've changed the sport into what it is. And I admit to, analytics has hurt the sport a lot. And this is coming from a guy, I love analytics. Before Meg Rowley ruined Effectively Wild, that was one of my favorite baseball podcasts until that fucking girl came on there and ruined it. But, that's hurt the sport somehow because it's just made everything like a computer simulation. And there needs to be something. Because if they want to start appealing to more fans and all this blah, blah, blah bullshit because they're trying to make the most money they can, they need to do something to bring the game back to where there's balls put in play more, the ball's fucking consistent, and they actually enforce rules that are rules. So, this video is long as shit. I'm sorry for getting a little bit heated, but I'm just tired of it. What are your guys' thoughts? I'll be back next Saturday. We'll talk about some more Tigers baseball and the week that happened and anything else going on in the MLB. Have a good one, guys.